Hello everyone and welcome to Quarrelsome Rhinoceros Stitches, episode number 26. My name is Monica, I'm the host. I am coming to you from Bangor, Maine, which is a city kind of in the middle bit of Maine. Excuse me. This is a knitting podcast where I show you things that I'm working on and things I've finished, things I'm designing, what I've bought in yarn. Please excuse any background noise. My furnace is on because it is cold. It is the end of February. It's February 23rd today. And we had a warm couple of days, but then now it's back down to around freezing. So it's pretty chilly. It probably won't get super warm here until April or May. But that just gives me a lot longer to wear my hand knits. So I've got a few things to talk to you about today. So I guess we'll start with what I'm wearing today. So these are two of my favorite knit items to wear together. So this yellow cardigan is my Koro cardigan. It is a pattern by Frenchie of Aroha Knits. So there's a lace panel that goes down the side, and then there's also a lace panel that goes down the back. So this is one of my favorite cardigans. It's kind of a lightweight cardigan that I like to wear over like long sleeve shirts. It is made with Knit Picks wool silk fingering weight yarn in the I think the color is called Honey. It's yellow. I made this last year and I don't have access to a gleaner at the moment, and you can see it's done a little bit of pilling on the arms, but not too bad. Not as bad as I thought it was going to pill, so that's good. I need to get a gleaner, I think. I do have a couple of sweaters that are kind of pilling like this, but yeah, so there's that, and then I'm also wearing my Changing Staircases shawl. This is a pattern by Tristan Molina of Dragon Horde Yarn. And the yarn I used was by On the Round, and it's called Cosmic Speckled Rainbow. I have shown it on the podcast before. It has been a while though, so I thought I would talk a little bit about that. And yeah, these are probably some of my favorite outfit, sort of a ensemble, I guess. I really like this green shirt with the yellow sweater. Anyway, so today I do have 3 works in progress to talk about. I have some acquisitions, and then I wanted to chat with you about why you shouldn't throw your hand knit items in the wash, just in case some of you were wondering sort of what happens. I do have kind of a sad story to go with that, but we'll get to that later. First, I am going to start with works in progress. So I'm going to start with something you've seen before. I did show this last time, and I can't remember exactly where I was last time because I'm a bad podcaster and I forgot to look it up. So, but this is the Chuck sweater that I'm making for a friend of mine who lives in Florida. And I am now finished with the body. I've done the neck facing, and I have finished one of the sleeves. I'm going to try and finish the second sleeve up today. It doesn't take very long. It's not a very long sleeve. I think it's like a 3/4 length. And yeah, so I'm almost done with that, and then I'll have to weave in all the ends and block it and then ship it off to its new home. But this is a pattern by Andy Satterland. I'm using a US 8 needle, which is a 4mm or 5mm. It's a 5mm, I think. 5mm. 6 is a 4mm. Anyway, so yeah, so this is using Lion brand fisherman's wool, which is 100% pure virgin wool. fisherman's wool. This is in the oatmeal colorway. Yeah, it is. I really like this yarn actually. For being a commercial yarn, I really actually enjoy working with it. It's not like scratchy feeling, I guess, or as toothy as other wools that I've worked with. But I think the stitch definition on it on this cable is pretty good. I have one of these sweaters myself. I think I've said that every time I've shown this, but I have one of these sweaters myself. I bought twice as much yarn as I needed for it. So my friend asked me if I would knit her a sweater, the same sweater. And I'm actually really excited because I want to go see her later this year. And I'm hoping that we can get pictures of us together in it. So this version of the sweater would not fit me if I were to try it on, because I knit it in a lot smaller size than I would wear. But yes, I really enjoy the sweater. I think she's really gonna like it too. I think, so she is always cold. Excuse me, she's always cold. So it's funny, she lives in Florida. And so she's always cold, and I told her last night I had made the sleeves short on my version of the Chuck sweater because I thought it was going to be way too hot with the arms being like 3/4 length or elbow length sleeves. So I made them like mid, like t-shirt length. Basically I turned the sleeve cap and I did like 10 rows, and then I did the ribbing at the end, so it really wasn't a really long sleeve at all. And so I told her that I made hers as long as it said in the pattern, and she's like, oh, it's fine because I'm always cold. But I just find it funny that she lives in Florida, which is warm most of the year, and then I live in Maine where it's cold and I wanted a colder sweater. Anyway, I guess moving on. So last week I talked about I wanted to redo a shawl that I was working on for my grandmother. I had started it, and I was doing a pattern by Frenchie of Rohan Knits, and so I decided to actually do a different one of her patterns for this yarn. I think it looks really good with this yarn, and I'm really happy with what I've gotten so far. Now I think that this is the Caprius shawl, which was part of the first Fiber Muse alchemy kit, like the first edition. But it is, I guess I'll just show you. So it is an asymmetrical triangle. So it starts off really little. It's got these sections of stockinette. It's got a section of slip stitch, and then it's got a eyelet section. And so this is how it's turning out so far. I've made quite a bit of progress because last week I showed you that I had ripped out what I had done before, and I've made quite a bit of progress on this since then. Yeah, so I'm really liking how it's turning out. So I have two different colors of yarn here. I'm striping them, so every 2 rows I'm switching colors. And I just really like how it's turning out. So the yarn that I'm using for this is it's Nako Calico. It is in color number 11221. So this one is cotton, it's a cotton acrylic blend. So I'm not sure if or how I'm going to block it. Maybe I'll just steam block it. And then I have another one of, so this one is Nako Calico Jacquard. It is color 31548. And so this one is like white. It's got like some natural color. It's got some like light blue, the same sort of shade of blue as this one. And then it's got some dark blue and some yellow in it as well. But yeah, so I'm probably about halfway done. I think these balls are about halfway gone. So hopefully I'll be able to finish this up soon and give that to my grandmother. She's been waiting for a long time for this shawl, so I'm kind of excited to get it done. I think for the next couple of months, I'm mostly going to be working on gift knits for people because I've been kind of putting it off because I got selfish with my knitting at the end of last year. But yeah, so I'm doing that on a size, a 4mm needle that says US size 6. Wait, actually I think it might be a 7. It is a 7, so it's a 4.5mm needle. And I think it is either a DK or a worsted weight yarn. It's definitely not fingering weight, I can tell you that much. And it is living here in this really cute bag that I got as part of the Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted thing from last year, and it is by the Silver Shed USA. There's their tag. But yeah, it's a really cute fabric. I really like the, I like that this pattern kind of looks like it's knit, and I really like all of these sayings. I think this one is my favorite. This one says, "When I learned to knit, I forgot how to cook." It's very me. But yeah, I really like this bag. It's kind of perfect for like a shawl size or like if I was gonna do 2 at a time socks. And then my last work in progress is living in a bag that I made. It's not perfect. The stitching definitely isn't straight. It was the first project that I did on my new sewing machine, but I really love flannel fabric. And in it, so my mom sent me some yarn. She bought some yarn from Knit Picks and sent it to me for me to make her a shawl. So the yarn is, it is the Stroll Tweed, Knit Picks Stroll Tweed in the, what is it, Marine Heather colorway. And that's fairly accurate to color, for color representation. Yeah. It's really nice yarn. I really like it. I like the Stroll line anyway, but I really like the tweed version of it as well. And so I am knitting a pattern by Joji Locatelli called Imagine When. And so here is the almost the first 2 sections. I do have one more repeat of the pattern before I'm done with section 2. But yeah, so here is what I've done on it so far. So it's a fairly easy to memorize pattern as far as the different sections. I do find it really easy for me to memorize knitting patterns though. So when I say it's easy to memorize, it means, I don't know, I'm not sure it means the same thing as when other people say that, because I really do memorize things really easily. Especially if I have to do the same thing over and over again. Like by the 3rd repeat or something, I memorized this one. But yeah, so there's that. So there are 5 sections to this shawl. It's, I'll put a picture on the screen. It's a really neat pattern, and you do different shaping methods for, to make it the size that it is. I really like that it has like a set yardage. I mean, obviously if you have the same gauge. I did not take gauge, but I do have extra yarn. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to have enough yarn to finish the shawl. It has a very designated like start and end point to it. And it's hard to kind of make it longer or shorter, but I think that's good. I like having like a set goal to get to instead of just do this until you're done, which is what the other shawl I'm working on right now is. But yeah, so those are the 3 things that I'm working on right now, and all 3 of them are not for myself. I have decided, I bought a sweater quantity of Cascade 220, and I have decided on a pattern that I'm going to do with that, so that will probably be my next selfish knit after I'm done with all 3 of those and the socks that I'm working on. But that won't be for a while, because I do have 2 pairs of socks that I'll be working on soon, and you'll see why in a minute when I get to my acquisitions. It's actually a really good sort of transition. So I have I set an alarm during my last D&D game so that I could buy some yarn. Because when people do shop updates at certain times, I like to go there at that specific time so I can get the color that I'm looking for. And I have been wanting to get a skein of Wool and Vine yarns for a long time. I really enjoy Kristen Laird's patterns, and I love her yarn every time I see it, and I love her podcast, and she's great. So I set my alarm during D&D because that was when she was having one of her updates, and so I managed to grab a skein. So this is the skein of yarn that I got. So it's got like, it's this like pale blue and some mauve and then some speckling, and it's just really pretty. I really like this sort of, that sort of speckling there. And I'm really interested to see how it's going to knit up. So this colorway is called I Am No Bird. It is on the Smitten DK base. And the best thing that I noticed after was a while ago, actually, it was for my Chuck sweater. So, so when I knit my Chuck sweater, I put it into a knit along that Hannah of the Corner of Craft was doing, and then I ended up winning that one. And she sent me, one of the things that she sent me was a skein of yarn that was by Potion Yarns, and this is it here. This one is called Granny Chic, but I think these two go together so well. I'm definitely gonna do like a shawl, a DK weight shawl with them. I might actually grab a third skein so that I can do a 3-color shawl, but we'll see. I really love how these two play with each other. Like I love the mauve streaks in here are like some of the lighter mauve in that. And I'm thinking either getting like a more blue skein to match this, or like a darker skein to match the darker purples in this, but yeah. So this will someday be a shawl, probably for myself, because they're like special yarns to me, so maybe I will get a third special skein, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, so it's exciting. So that is one of my future knits for myself. But yesterday, or not yesterday, the day before yesterday, I went to a store in Portland when I was there with my grandmother, she actually had a doctor's appointment, and so we drove down to Portland and had spent the day there instead of just going for the doctor's appointment. So I didn't pick up a whole lot, but I did pick up a couple of things, and so I wanted to share those with you. Hold on just one second. I dropped some stuff in here and it... Alright, so we picked up, I picked up a skein of Malabrigo sock, and it is 400 yards. Doesn't actually tell me the fiber content. That's very strange. I thought every label did that. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, so I gotta pick a skein of Malabrigo sock, and I really love this yarn. I think it is gorgeous. This is not turning out really the color that it is. Like, this is more of a mustard yellow here, and that's pretty fairly accurate, but I really like this skein. As you can see, that's kind of my color palette. But I really like it. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. It might be just a 1 skein shawl. I really like I really like 1 skein shawls, so I might make that into, or make it into that. I might even do another changing staircases because I really like the pattern. But yeah, I don't know. It's a nice green-blue mix. Green, yellow, blue mix. So I picked that up, and then my grandmother found this yarn. This yarn is Frolicking Feet worsted weight, and Done Roving Yarns. Anyway, so this colorway is called Currents. So like I think as in the Currents, C-U-R-R-A-N-T-S. Anyway, so this is a perfect matching pair. They're called soulmates. SOLE mates. So I'm gonna be making a pair of worsted weight socks for my grandmother out of these. And these little stickers come up and you can pull the yarn straight from here. So I might just leave it right here in this little thing. I might actually take it out and put it in one of my project bags. I'm not sure yet. I might stick this whole container right at the bottom of one of my project bags. We'll see. But yeah, so I'm excited to make those. I haven't really made any socks lately, and I haven't really been enjoying the process of making socks. So I'm more into the garments at the moment rather than the accessories. So I guess I'm kind of excited for a worsted weight pair of socks because it won't take very long. But yeah, so that was what I bought, and it was at a store called Knitwit. There's their little bag. They're in Portland. So I guess they were one of the first stores to start stocking Quince & Co. yarns back when they started making yarn. And I didn't realize that Quince & Co. started in Maine, but they're throughout the Northeast now. I think they're a lot bigger than they were, obviously, when they first started. And then I guess I only have a couple more acquisitions, and they're all kind of little. So I bought this pair of enamel pins that'll go on some of my project bags probably. So they are Star Trek cats. They're probably my favorite things ever. I love them so much. But yeah, so they're Star Trek cats. I think it's supposed to be Kirk and Spock, and I love them. They're great. So those are gonna go on some of my project bags, and then I also have, I got these from my Secret Santa at work. They're a little Slytherin enamel pin and a Slytherin iron-on patch that I'm hopefully gonna be able to put on one of my bags. But yeah, so that is pretty much everything that I've gotten in the last couple of weeks. I've been more conscious with my yarn buying decisions, I guess. I've been only buying for specific projects, except for the yarn that I got at Knitwit. But I've been trying to only buy yarn for specific projects or like specific dyers that I've been wanting to use their yarns. And that's just to be more conscious of where I'm spending my money and what I'm doing with my hobby here. So yeah, I guess the last thing I really wanted to talk about was why you shouldn't throw things that are not meant to go in the washing, or why you should actually look at the directions on your the tag that you have for your yarn when you go to wash things, because I ruined one of the things that I knit last year. At the beginning of the year last year, I was a test knitter for a hat and cowl set, and I will put the picture of it when it was first done up here so you can see what it looked like originally. But it accidentally got put in the washing machine the last time I was at the laundromat, and I have kind of ruined it, and it made me really sad. So the yarn that I used to make it was Knit Picks. I think it was a wool silk blend, but it was a DK weight. I'm not sure. So I think I have the yarn info in the project page I have on Ravelry, which I will link in my show notes. But yeah, so I went through the wash and I didn't realize it, and I'm pretty sure it went through the dryer also. And now it's kind of felted and just doesn't look great at all. So here it is, without further ado, my washing mess up. So here is the thing. So I'm gonna put it really close to the camera so it'll maybe focus. So if you can see, so these are supposed to be like dandelion stitches, and they're not, like, they're just felted. This has permanently been folded over. I can't get it to stay up at all. So, I mean, it's still warm. It just doesn't look as pretty as it did when I first washed it, or when I first knit it. It's still warm, and it's still kind of, I love the colors, obviously. But yeah. I'm a little bit disappointed that I didn't see that it was in the wash when I put it in there. It was wrapped up in something else. So that is just sort of a word to the wise. Don't wash your hand knit items if they cannot be washed, because it was not a superwash wool, it was just a regular wool. And this looks way better when it is not felted. But yeah, that was a little bit disappointing. Anyway, but yeah, I wanted to share that with you just in case anybody found it interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that is pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about today. Man, I blew right through that. I hope you all have a wonderful couple of weeks, and I will get back with you very soon in my next episode. Thanks so much. Bye.